thank you all so much, because this wouldn't be this wouldn't be taking place without y'all. Kathy Rothfuss, Kathy Rand, Jamie Shelton, Jared, Leslie, Ben Alpers. Thank you guys for organizing this convention. We lost a lot of ground in 2020, and I think that, I mean, the party now is an urban insurgency. So I think Democrats in Oklahoma, I think we have to kind of develop our own brand, and we have to make a connection with people's lives and demonstrate to them that we can connect with the needs in their lives. And we're getting whipped in the messaging war, and we can't let cultural issues and identity politics obscure our message that we need better schools, and that we need more resources to treat addiction, and we need roads and infrastructure and rural broadband. And I think that that's how Jacob Rosecrans was able to win in a conservative area. He could go and meet people where they are. And I think that's what we have to do. And I look forward to 2022. We're definitely going to need counties like Comanche and Pontotoc in the upcoming gubernatorial election. My advice to the incoming officers would be,
they can't hear us, can they?
something wrong?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. My advice to the incoming officers would be to coordinate, stay in touch, and work together. And we just got to show Oklahomans that there's a better way. Now, I guess I'm going to move on to the treasurer's report. Is there anything I left out?
From the treasurer's report, Will?
Yeah.
No, I think you're good. Did you get, you want me to kind of read off what you had sent me?
Yeah. You want to do it?
Sure. So Will had sent me the bank statement starting from 2 years ago to now. So let me try to get this. So really there was the beginning balance, which I'm going to find in my messaging system. There was only one deposit over the last 2 years, which was a result of the kind of pass the hat fundraising that was done at the last convention. And then I'm going to find this spreadsheet if it's there we go. So the beginning balance in April 2019 was $846.44. Then there was the one deposit from the last convention of $553.61. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 checks were written over the 2 years. Those were to pay for actually a check to Comanche County for last convention 2 years ago, a check for donuts for the convention 2 years ago. So we saved some money, guys, because you brought your own donuts to this convention. A check to the Purcell Senior Citizens for it was a state chair candidate event held in Purcell. And then we can, at the end of all of the deposit and the checks, our ending balance is $496.01. With that few transactions, I was hoping that would be enough of a basic description for everyone. Welcome to kind of put all that into a better written report, but as of this point, when the new administration takes over, they'll have $496.01 to begin some work.
I deposited $100 this week, so the balance is actually $596.
Well, perfect. Okay. I don't have that. The last bank statement I had ended on 3/31, So we'll get that new statement to the next team.
Sorry, I lost my agenda.
Should be
Oh,
next month.
okay.
Credentials Committee.
Credentials Committee, Leslie.
Hello, everybody. I'm Leslie Bonebrake with the Chair of Credentials Committee for this convention of Congressional District 4 of 2021. I'm the chair for Precinct 44, and I'm happy to report that we have 87 delegates in attendance, and we do meet quorum. That's it.
Yay.
Thank you.
On behalf of the Rules Committee, Will, you need to ask if anyone has any questions about the convention, the Credentials Committee report, and absent any questions, you can call by affirmation that we accept it, and then we're in business.
Okay. Does anybody have questions about the Credentials Committee report?
I do. What is the official count by delegate for CD4?
For CD4, we currently have 87 people right here.
No, I'm not saying what's been credentialed for the convention. I'm saying how many delegates do we have in CD4 period?
Let's see here, 87. Give me 1 minute. One, two, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm counting 107 available.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions for Credentials Committee? Do we accept, are there any, we need to accept the credentials report. Anyone who says nay, please, that they don't accept it, we'd like you to please speak up now.
I make a motion that we accept the credentialing report. This is Demetria Jackson from Garden County.
I second it. Johnny from Comanche County.
Okay.
We have that notice by the secretary. Jared?
I've got it.
All right. The credentials report has been accepted. Thank you all.
Thank you. Ben, what's my next move?
Your next move is me, Rules.
All right. Rules Committee.
Hi, this is Ben Alpers from Cleveland County. I'm giving the Rules Committee report. The report largely consists of the rules of the convention, which Robert's rules require that I read. You all got copies of this by email, and I apologize for this being the dullest part of the convention. These are the rules of the 2021 District 4 Democratic Party Convention. Rule number 1 is the agenda, which consists of a call to order and welcome, a recognition of Indigenous lands, a recognition of service members, a recognition of elected officials, pledge of allegiance, comments from the chair, treasurer's report, report of the Credentials Committee, report of the Rules Committee, approval of the minutes of the 2019 District 4 Convention, elections of the officers who are chair, a vice chair, and secretary, and 2 delegates to the State Affirmative Action Committee, a report of the Resolutions Committee, a consideration of resolutions, additional business, announcements, and adjournment. Rule number 2, purpose of meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to elect a chair, vice chair, secretary, and 2 delegates to the State Affirmative Action Committee, all to serve 2-year terms and to consider resolutions and such other business as may come before the body. Rule 3, resolutions. Following its charge under Oklahoma Democratic Party Bylaw 47, the Resolutions Committee will recommend resolutions for adoption by the convention. Any resolution not recommended for adoption by the Resolutions Committee may be moved by any delegate of the body if the resolution is submitted in writing via a Google form shared with the presiding officer at or before the time the motion is made, accompanied by a Google form petition of support signed physically or electronically by at least 25% of the delegates in attendance. The Google form shall include collection of the delegate's email address, county of voter registration, and a field for the delegate's name to serve as proof of signature. Any resolution may be amended by a delegate's moving such an amendment, provided the amendment is submitted in writing via a Google form shared with the presiding officer at or before the time the motion is made, accompanied by a Google form petition of support signed physically or electronically by at least 25% of the delegates in attendance. The Google form shall include collection of the delegate's email address, county of voter registration, and a field for the delegate's name to serve as proof of signature. All resolutions adopted by the convention will be sent with the convention's recommendation to the State Party Resolutions Committee for their consideration. In the event that the resolution report is not acted upon because the convention adjourns for lack of a quorum, the report of the Resolutions Committee shall be forwarded without recommendation to the State Party Resolutions Committee for their consideration. Rule 4, debate, general. Debate on any motion other than the consideration of resolutions shall be limited to 2 minutes for each side for a total of 4 minutes. Resolutions, debate on any resolutions or body of resolutions that the convention is considering shall be limited to 3 minutes for each side for a total of 6 minutes. Rule 5, election of officers, order of election. The order of the election shall be chair, vice chair, who shall be of a different gender from the chair, secretary, the first delegate to the State Affirmative Action Committee, and the second delegate to the State Affirmative Action Committee, who shall be of a different gender from the first delegate to the State Affirmative Action Committee. The Democratic Party considers gender a matter of self-identification. Nomination. Nomination shall be closed by a vote of the convention, shall not be closed by a vote of the convention, excuse me, but shall continue until there are no further nominations. Speeches. Following the close of nominations for each position, each candidate shall be allowed one nominating speech of not more than 2 minutes, one seconding speech of not more than 1 minute, and a speech by the candidate of not more than 2 minutes. Speaking order shall be the order in which the nominations were made. Nominating speeches for all candidates shall be given first, then seconding speeches for all candidates, and finally all candidate speeches, after which the election shall be held. Elections. All elections shall be by counted vote unless there is only one candidate nominated for an office, in which case the chair shall declare that person elected and there shall be no nominating or secondary speeches or vote taken. While voting is underway, sergeants at arms shall keep the doors closed and shall assist officers in maintaining order. I don't think that's a problem with the Zoom convention. Tally clerks shall assist the officers in the actual count. If no candidate receives a majority vote on the first vote, there shall be a runoff election between the two candidates receiving the greatest number of votes on the first vote. Rule 6, quorum. A quorum shall be 40% of the delegates. Proxies shall be counted for the determination of quorum. Ex officio members shall not be counted in determining if a quorum is present. Rule 7, proxies. Decisions regarding proxies shall be determined by the Credentials Committee in accordance with bylaws 34 and 35 and other relevant bylaws of the Oklahoma Democratic Party. A delegate to the convention shall be given a written proxy witnessed by 2 non-related adults to any registered Democrat of the same gender from the same county as that from which the delegate was elected. A delegate shall have the right to give a non-transferable proxy to a registered Democrat of the same gender. The delegate giving the proxy and the person to receive the proxy must be the same gender and appear before the Credentials Committee or staff for the proxy to be recorded in a proxy credential to the person receiving the proxy. A delegate to the virtual convention who wishes to leave and designate a proxy should post their desire in the Zoom chat along with the name of an eligible delegate of the same gender to carry their proxy. A member of the Credentials Committee will meet them in the Credentials breakout room to record the proxy. No individual may hold more than one proxy. No person shall have the right to cast a vote on behalf of any delegate to a convention who is not present unless that person holds a valid proxy credential issued by the Credentials Committee. A proxy may contain instructions concerning its use, and such instructions shall be binding on the proxy holder. If the proxy is not instructed, the holder may vote and act at the holder's discretion. If a presiding officer knows that a proxy is instructed and the proxy holder fails or refuses to vote according to instructions, the presiding officer shall ignore the action of the proxy holder and declare the vote of the proxy according to instructions. And finally, Rule 8, additional rules regarding the convention. This convention is governed by the Constitution and bylaws of the Oklahoma Democratic Party, which these rules reflect. On any question of procedure not otherwise covered by these rules, the Constitution or bylaws, this convention shall be governed by Robert's Rules of Order. And then I've listed the links to state Constitution and state bylaws. They're on ODP's website if you're looking for them and have any reason to look at them. And that is the report of the Rules Committee. Before taking a vote on that, I just want to make a couple other procedural notes, which are important for everybody to know. First, if you wish to make a motion of any sort, please raise your electronic hand to be recognized. For those of you new to Zoom, if you're on a computer and you look at the bottom of your Zoom screen, you'll see if you float over it with your mouse, a thing called reactions. If you hit reactions, one of the options is raise your hand. That is how you will be recognized if you have a motion of any sort. Secondly, elections. Oklahoma Democratic Party rules say that elections other than elections of officers should in the first instance be conducted by voice vote. Since voice voting is actually very difficult on Zoom, instead of voice votes, that first level of elections is going to be by affirmation. That is, the person who is presiding will ask if there are any objections, and if there aren't any, the motion will pass. As in any regular convention, a single delegate and a second can force a counted vote. So just someone needs to move for what's called a division of the assembly. And if that's seconded, then votes will be counted. And as you've heard, the way we'll count votes is we will go to breakout rooms for counties. Each county will count its votes, and then the counties will report back to the assembled convention to finish counting the votes. I think that's all I have to say. So by direction of the Rules Committee, I move adoption of the 2021 District 4 Democratic Party Convention rules as I have just read. And I need a second, and then we need to do the affirmation voice vote.
I'll second. Steve Jarman, Garvin County.
Okay. Without objection, the rules have been adopted.
I had a comment. I raised my hand.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. This is Mark Ashton, Comanche County delegate. I would hope that in the future, and I intend to vote in favor of these rules, but I would hope in the future you take into consideration the needs of rural Oklahomans. Google Forms, I don't know what Google Forms is. I would imagine people in smaller communities than mine don't know what Google Forms is. And I would imagine that there are people within the 4th District that don't have access to the internet and don't have any ability to make a response, much less gain 25% of the delegates to go along with their response or their objection. So I would hope that these deadlines would be re-examined so that people have a longer time to look at rules, longer time to look at resolutions, and that we not exclusively limit people that are savvy with the internet to having a voice and into the party rules and the party platform.
I think that's a fair comment. I would just say that this is for hopefully the only time we're going to be doing this online. Generally, these things are in person. Some of the things you mentioned are simply a matter of party rules. The timing with which the rules and the resolutions are set out, the 25% signature requirement, all of those things are party rules. And I apologize for the Google Forms aspect of this, but we needed to come up with some way to have verifiable signatures, because signatures are required by party rules in order to make amendments like that. So that's some of those issues are, and they're all real issues. Some of those issues are determined by party rules, and some of those issues are a result of the fact that we are online this year. And I apologize both for the fact that we are online this year and also for the imperfection of some of the decisions that had to be made in that regard. Kathy, you had your hand up. Oh, you're muted, Kat. I can't hear you, Kathy.
It appears that her, she's just not, her audio, her microphone is not connected. So Kathy, can you put it in the chat, please?
I think, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Actually, I've changed some settings. Okay, good. All right, so if a non-binary person needs a proxy, like for instance, has to leave this meeting and needs to give a proxy to someone, and there is no non-binary person to ask for that proxy, can that person just give that proxy to a person of any gender?
My understanding is no. My understanding is the Democratic Party recognizes 3 gender identities and that you can only give your proxy to someone of the same gender. That's at least my understanding. Other people who know Democratic Party rules, current Democratic Party rules, should feel free to correct me on that. But that my understanding is that you must give your proxy to a delegate of the same gender.
Okay, so that's something that we might want to consider as a change to the rules in the future.
Yes, no, I think the way, prior to this year, the Democratic Party had a binary understanding of gender. That was a problem. That has now been replaced and has created more problems. So this is an ongoing issue. But all the rules regarding gender are from upstairs. They're Democratic Party rules, and we just have to accommodate them. Any other questions? Okay, so without objection then, the rules have been accepted, and I will pass things back to Will Irwin to do our next point of business.
Thanks, Ben. So approval of the minutes from the 2019 District 4 Convention. We haven't been able to locate them. Ben, what kind of motion do I need to make?
I'll be happy to make the motion. I may make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Brent Starling, Cleveland County, second.
Okay, so do we have to vote on it?
Yes.
We need
Not unless someone objects and someone requests a division of the assembly.
Okay, without objection, we will dispense with the reading of the minutes from the 2019 convention. Now on to the elections of officers. Nominations for chair.
Chairman of the
no, hold on a second. Let them recognize me.
Lisa Andrews.
Okay, I have Michael Trice on my phone because he couldn't get in. So I'm not doing anything because I'm not a delegate to this convention. Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, Chairman Michael Trice, Comanche County. I, this afternoon, would like to make a motion to accept Larry Bush as a nominated candidate for the position of chairman of District 4's seat. Larry has been an active member of the Comanche County.
Mr. Trice, you don't do your speech just yet.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
I second Elizabeth Jenkins Austin, Carter County.
All right, so Larry Bush has been nominated for chair. Do we have a timekeeper?
What we need to hold off. You need to ask for any other nominations.
You need to call for additional nominations 3 times before you close nominations.
Okay, are there any other nominations for chair of Congressional District 4?
Troy Green has his hand up.
Troy?
Yeah, I would just like for y'all to repeat the person's name. I never heard who is being nominated for chair. Could y'all possibly repeat the name again?
Larry Bush.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other nominations for chair? Any other nominations for chair? Okay, so if there are no other nominations, then what's the
If there are no other nominations, our rules say that the one nominee has been elected, and you recognize that the nominee has been elected, and you pass the gavel over to the nominee because Larry Bush is now the chair of CD4.
All right, Larry Bush has been elected chair of CD4.
We need to celebrate.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Larry.
Congratulations, Larry.
Congratulations, Larry.
Good job.
Congratulations, Larry.
Yay, congratulations.
Point of order, Ben or Will?
Yes.
Yeah.
Since Larry probably had a speech prepared or some sort of comments, would it be possible for him to make those comments?
I think we can. I guess formally we should suspend the rules, but I think everyone will be okay with Larry making his
him introduce himself to us all.
Absolutely.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm here. Thank you very much. First of all, my name is Larry Bush, and I'm the new elected chairman of Congressional District 4. I want to thank all of you for your votes. Some of you know or may not have known, I ran for state representative. And what I've learned from my experience for running in state representative is that it takes more than a strong candidate to win an election. It takes voter turnout, registering new voters, and getting those voters out to vote in order to win. And we know as Democrats that when we vote, we win. Even in red states like Georgia, which we saw in this previous election, elected its first Democratic president since 1992. And for us here in Oklahoma to have a similar impact, we must start today by registering people of color, those aged 18 and 30, and unmarried women, following a similar blueprint laid out by Stacey Abrams, excuse me, in Georgia. Today, we face many challenges with Republicans passing Jim Crow-like laws across our country. Is more important now than ever that we as Democrats unite and organize to build back the enthusiasm that once turned our state blue by engaging with voters with issues that matter most to them. Access to healthcare and Medicare for all, affordable and adequate housing, gainful employment at a living wage, a diversified economy, and entrepreneurial opportunities that include everyone. We have both a moral and civic duty to stand up and speak. While making calls yesterday, I spoke to a delegate in my hometown, from my hometown of Ada, and she had voiced some of her concerns and disappointments from the last election. I promise as chairman, I'll work hard to ensure that everyone in our district has all the supplies and resources they need in order to be successful. Thank you everyone again for electing me as chairman. I'll work hard and do the best that I can. Thank you so much for your support. Let's go blue.
Larry, it is your convention.
Okay,
So your next move is to conduct the election for your vice chair.
Okay, all right. And is there any, do I recognize the nominations for vice chair for Congressional District 4? Are there any nominations?
Yeah, I want to nominate somebody. That's Elizabeth Jenkins Austin from Comanche County.
I will second that. Johnny Jernigan from Comanche County.
Real quick. Sorry, I'm Jared Deck. I'm taking minutes for the convention. I need to know the name and the county of the nominator.
This is Ray Dries from Comanche County.
Okay, and who is the second?
Johnny Jernigan from Comanche County. How are you, Jared?
Doing well.
Tony.
Thank you.
And we recognize the nomination for vice chair as, what was the name again? I'm sorry.
Elizabeth Jenkins Austin. Elizabeth Jenkins Austin.
Did we get the nominee name clear? Everyone get it?
Yes.
We have hands up. Will.
No. We've got
Larry, rather.
Any other nominees?
This is Travis Darling from Cleveland County, and I nominate Phyllis Klugas of McLean County for vice chair.
This is Mark Matthews from McLean County. I second the nomination.
Okay. So now that we take a vote.
Now ask for any more nominations and ask 3 times.
Okay.
And then close nominations.
Is there any more nominations for vice chair? Again, is there any more nominations for vice chair? Okay, there's no more nominations for vice chair.
Okay, so Larry, you need to
Yes.
go over what the rules are for the nominating speeches.
Okay. All right, let me.
Mr. Alpers, do you mind helping him?
Oh, happy to.
The rules at the nomination speeches?
Yeah, the rules are each candidate will have one nominating speech of 2 minutes. So we'll go in the order that the 2 candidates were nominated. Then there will be 2 seconding speeches, which will each be 1 minute long, again in the order in which the candidates were nominated. And finally, the candidates themselves will have an opportunity to speak for 2 minutes each, again in the order in which they were nominated. So it's nominating speech for Elizabeth Jenkins Austin, nominating speech for Phyllis Klugas, seconding speech for Elizabeth Jenkins Austin, seconding speech for Phyllis Klugas. Then we hear from Elizabeth Jenkins Austin, and then we hear from Phyllis Klugas. I'm happy to keep time.
Thank you very much.
So please, I'm just going to help you out, okay? If you're okay with that, I'm just going to help you out. So you need to call for the person who made the nominating speech for Phyllis Klugas and to tell them that they have 2 minutes.
Okay, all right. So the person who is nominating the first vice chair candidate, will you please, you have 2 minutes to speak.
Yeah, this is Elizabeth Jenkins Austin. She was the first one. And she wants to help Democrats win big in 2022. She's a Lawton native. In the past has served at the State Affirmative Action Committee in Comanche County. And she's serving as a precinct chair in Comanche County. And she's a driven, dedicated, community-oriented volunteer, state disaster management, community relations coordinator with the Oklahoma Missionary Baptist Convention, Home Mission Board, a Christian and a retired U.S. Army veteran of 27 years of service. And Elizabeth will fight for a better, fairer, and brighter future for every Oklahoman by empowering voters to not only participate, but also in elections and also influence the process. Let's move past the blatant political partisanship and politics of cynicism to build and protect our communities while diligently creating new opportunities. Thank you.
Next is the nominator for Phyllis Klugas. I was wrong the last time, but the next is for nominator for Phyllis Klugas.
Thank you.
Thank you. For accessibility, I'll be posting the speech in the chat as well as reading it out. Good afternoon, delegates. I'm Travis Darling from Cleveland County, and I'm honored to nominate my friend Phyllis Klugas for the position of vice chair and to introduce her to you. Phyllis is a lifelong Oklahoman who holds a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from the University of Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner, but she's retired after work injuries left her unable to continue her medical career. She's passionate about all things outdoors and enjoys spending time exploring Oklahoma's natural beauty. Phyllis has been a member of the Sierra Club for my entire lifetime, since 1990, and advocates with them for environmentally friendly legislation. So why do I support Phyllis for the vice chair position? First, I know that she has the skills to succeed in the role. Having served in the vice chair role of other organizations, I can tell you that one of the main roles of a vice chair is to support the chair, which means knowing everything the chair has to know. In addition, ODP rules place the role of treasurer in the hands of the vice chair. As a nurse, Phyllis has had to keep careful and detailed notes on every patient interaction, in circumstances where every digit and decimal point written down could be a matter of life and death. This level of meticulousness will carry over easily into her keeping of the district's financial records. Secondly, she'll be in charge of training our new county vice chairs in their duties. As a current officer with the McLean County Democratic Party, Phyllis is keenly aware of the role our county parties play in organizing Democrats. She is well qualified to assume the duties of a trainer. I appreciate the opportunity to introduce Phyllis Kluges to you this afternoon, and I would ask you to join me in voting for her for vice chair of the 4th Congressional District. Thank you.
So now 2 seconding speeches are in order, starting with whoever's seconded Elizabeth Jenkins Austin. And these speeches are 1 minute rather than 2 minutes long.
Okay. I seconded Elizabeth Austin mainly because the 27 years as a veteran, and I know how important that is to me and what that stands for as far as her integrity. A Missionary Baptist Convention, helping out with the Oklahoma Missionary Baptist Convention and the Home Mission Board, all that. She is also a second term chair for her district or for her precinct, and so I know she's dedicated. Thank you.
Thank you. And so now a seconding speech for Phyllis Kluges.
Hello, my name is Mark Matthews, McLean County. I've known Phyllis since me and my wife moved out here in 2012. She is very passionate with the Democrat Party, and she also is very inclusive of everyone. She took the time to talk with us about some issues we've had and other people I've known in the area. She would make a great vice chair. Please support me in voting for Phyllis Kluges. Thank you.
And finally, we hear from the candidates themselves. Elizabeth, you have 2 minutes.
First of all, I'd like to say I would thank God for this morning and being here. And I'd like to say thank all of you all who are here and for nominating me for the vice chair position. I don't take it lightly. I have served and currently serving as the precinct chair for my precinct. I have recently served with the state Democratic Convention as with the Affirmative Action Committee. I'm from Lawton. I'm a Lawton native, and I am Chickasaw and African American. My goals will be to write, lobby, and implement legislative policies focusing on the underserved rural and tribal communities in Oklahoma. Oklahoma is ranked #1 right now in child hunger. I will continue to be an active voice for local, state, and world hunger by continuing to lobby in Washington, D.C. with our elected officials, raising hunger awareness with them. This happens in June each year. I have participated for 9 years in lobbying our state officials for this cause. When Corona hit and we were forced to shut our schools down, I immediately went to work collaborating with the Red Cross and FEMA partners as our community struggled at how they were going to educate our children. We were able to collaborate with Dish Network and other agencies to give free high-speed internet to our rural community for our kids for 1 year. My goal will be what is good for the people, the Democratic Party, to set new legislative infrastructure rules and rules for rural areas as far as internet. My goal will be to serve all the underserved rural communities, regardless of race, age, sex, Black, white, Asian, Muslim, Native American, LGBT, and others. My goal is to fight for a better, fair future for every Oklahoman without bias, judgment, credence, or personal views, by empowering voters to participate in the process of democracy. Thank you.
And finally, 2 minutes from our second candidate, Phyllis Klugas.
Hi, Democrats. I'm Phyllis Klugas, and I'm running for the honor of serving you as Vice Chair of our gerrymandered 4th Congressional District. I am both a lifelong Democrat and Oklahoman. I have served the last 4 years as the chair for McLean County. As a disabled nurse, I live in Newcastle with my husband, Dale, who is a former farmer, and our son, Matthew. We attend St. Michael's Episcopal in Norman. Any public office, whether it be city council, U.S. Senate, or precinct officer, should be a labor of love done with a servant's heart. Each of you serving your county in whatever role are invaluable. You are the organizers and the unifiers. Without you, our Democratic candidates have no support. And that's what we're here for, is to get Democrats elected. So why Democrats? What do we believe in? Well, one thing we do not believe in is excluding anyone. All are welcome at our tables and our convention halls. Human rights are civil rights, voting rights, the rights of every human being to affordable health care, food, housing, and the right, regardless of race or class, to clean water, clean air, and the freedom from fear of the extreme consequences of climate change. The right to be who we are and love who we choose. We can inspire the changes Oklahoma needs so badly, but only if we work together. Let's be inclusive. Let's be kind. I know with your help, we can affect some changes. It will take time, but with our work and your patience, there is hope. We are all looking forward to a better future and anticipating the day that we will be together again. Thank you.
So now, Chairman, call for a vote.
Now, I call for a vote for Vice Chair.
And what we will do, Jamie, help me with the technical end here. Everyone should go to their county breakout room, and then county chairs will count in the breakout rooms.
Correct. Those rooms are open.
If you're being invited to join a coffee chat, you'll say not now and then go find your county.
Alicia, State Chair Alicia, I'm going to make you a co-host for a little bit, and if you don't mind hanging out in this like main session, and then you should be able to move some people if you need to. Just please don't hit leave meeting for all.
All righty. Oh, I guess I should go, huh? Ah!
And Diana from Stevens County, hang out with Alicia.
Am I in the right place?
Yes.
Okay.
Jamie, should we hang out here in case we see people in the wrong breakout room to move them?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll go over to ours and then.
So I don't want to say the name wrong, so I'm going to spell it. Haifen. Should you be here or should you be in the Cleveland County room?
Yes. Haifeng G.
Yes.
Okay. Did he go?
Yeah, I guess he did. All righty.
I just feel like my screen is just a little behind all the time.
Okay. And then I think that there is a Lenora.
Lenore. Let's see. I'm going to change this to gallery view. That would help. Aha. Okay. I've done that before where I send somebody to the waiting room instead of.
Mr. Trice, do you want me to go to the Cleveland? Are you in Cleveland County?
No, I'm in Comanche.
You want me to go to Comanche County so you can vote?
No, I'm gonna pass.
Okay.
Okay.
Where do I vote?
Okay.
So we're gonna. It's a roll call vote for vice chair, and so when they get ready to do the call, they'll call Cleveland County, they'll call Stevens County, they'll call Comanche County, and since you're the only Stevens County, you know how Stevens County is voting.
Okay.
All right. Lenore. Why am I not finding the unassigned people?
Lenore, you can unmute yourself. And I don't have the ability to move people to rooms, Kathy.
Yeah, I can't find her in a.
Yep, she's gone.
Oh, she must have found her way. Okay, I'm gonna hop in Cleveland County real quick and then cast my vote, and then I'll be back.
Right.
I think.
And Leslie, are you back because you've cast your vote? Okay. And then Kimberly, you're hanging out with us because you're not a delegate like me. Right?
I'm sorry.
I found it out.
Okay. There's Kathy over here, Catherine Hewitt and Lenore Masura. We have a couple of Cleveland County folks, I think, who are over here that we were looking for in the breakout room. Catherine Hewitt, are you still here? Thank you everyone for your patience with this technology and our first and hopefully last ever virtual convention.
I would like to ask Laura Williams to go to the Comanche County room so that she can vote. She's still in the main, or appears to still be in the main. And if the Rules Committee permit, could Alicia Andrews text to Tony Terrell, the chair of Comanche County, whatever Michael Trice's vote is for this particular election? Can anybody hear me?
I hear you, but I'm in Garvey County.
I can hear you.
I hear you.
Alicia, are you still in contact with Michael Trice?
Yeah, he's still on the phone. And since this is an open vote, can I just say it out loud? Or I can go over to Comanche County. I'll go to Comanche County.
Okay, that would work. Thank you.
Kathy, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, so I just left the Comanche County room.
Uh-huh.
Every time that Mary Ann tries to move, it kicks her off. So if someone could manually move her, that would be
Okay.
helpful.
Okay. Hey, Jamie, are you there?
I'm back, yes.
Okay,
I
did
heard
you
part
hear
of that.
about Mary Ann?
She gets booted when
Yes.
she tries to move herself.
Right, so we need to move her.
Okay. The breakout rooms are closing in 20 more seconds. I'm going to have, using the reactions option, our county chairs, the person from each room that counted and has the count, to raise their hand, because then you will kind of automatically get filtered to the top of the Zoom screen, and we won't have to look on page 4 of 4 for you. So if you guys are on a gallery view where there's a bunch of boxes and you're the count giver of your location, please raise your hand, so then that way it'll make it easier for Larry to call on us. So hopefully I have Cleveland, I have Oklahoma, McLean, Carter. So if someone from Comanche.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
We have 2 of our delegates who have not been able to get on. They've tried and got kicked off. It was said they were moved out by the host. I've been conversing with them on the phone. Do their votes count or not?
I would say yes, because they were credentialed. And if you took the count, would.
This is Demetria Jackson, Garvin County Chair. And I had talked to Jamie about Peggy and Ron Patton, and they couldn't get back in.
Right.
So,
That's what I was asking about, Kim.
Right.
So,
Hey, Ben, would that be, I mean, if we're counting among.
That's I think ultimately a credentials question.
They were credentialed. We have them counted. We have.
I guess my question would be, are you in contact with them?
yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
I mean, again, I think if the convention does not object to that, I think it's perfectly in order to count their votes. Where it wouldn't be in order is if you weren't in contact with them and you sort of vaguely knew how they were going to vote. That's not okay. But if you're actually in contact with them, I think under the circumstances, credentials, does that make sense to you?
I know they can't get in the usual way, but have they tried like calling in as a phone number?
I don't believe so. I've just been communicating with them, texting back and forth while all this is taking place.
As well as I, as the chair. And they did try to get back in.
And this is the Pattons we're speaking about?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we do have both of them credentialed. Let me see, is there any way they could possibly like text me?
Get them on the phone.
Yeah, if we heard their voices on their phone, if anyone doesn't have an objection to this, then I would see that as solid.
We will just report their votes in with Garvin County's response.
You know, I'm all for just taking your word for it that you are in contact with them if there's no objections.
I suppose the more administratively neat way to do this would be if you could each take one of their proxies, then we'd be completely copacetic, right?
That would work.
And that would be the sort of cleanest way to do this, because you have a right to take their proxies. Neither of you have a proxy right now. And then, you can vote the proxies any way you want, including contacting them privately and doing what they say they want to do with their votes.
That's fine. Steve, you can take Ron's and I'll take Peggy's.
That's fine.
Excellent.
We do know how they voted in this situation.
Okay, so Garvin County still has 5 votes.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I have renamed Garvin County. So Larry, I think now is your turn to hopefully all the people hands raised are at the top of your screen. And so you'd be able to say, Step County, what's your vote?
Okay, would you like me to read you the names of the counties and how many possible votes each one has?
Yes, please. Please do.
Okay, Canadian County has 4 votes. Carter County has 9 votes. Cleveland County has 41 votes. Comanche County has 14 votes. Garvin County, 5 votes. McLean County, 4 votes. Oklahoma County, 6. Pontotoc, 4. Stevens, 1. And those numbers reflect those who were credentialed today.
Now, James, where did you say I would see the hands raised?
On the person's, or if Kathy's doing a roll call, Ben, how can we do this? Just help us. Just tell us what it is.
Someone, I think it's fine if Kathy has all the numbers in front of her, she can conduct the roll call. If that's okay with Larry.
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely.
Okay.
That'd be better.
So what I'll do is I'll announce, we'll go in that order. I'll announce the county and how many votes, and then you will tell me how many for Austin, how many for Clugas. And I'll repeat it back so I make sure I have it right. Okay. So with the representative from Canadian County, 4 votes.
Yes, we have 3 votes for Elizabeth and 1 vote for Phyllis.
3 votes for Elizabeth, 1 vote for Phyllis. Thank
Yes.
you. Carter County has 9 votes.
We have 2 votes for Elizabeth, 7 votes for Phyllis.
2 votes for Elizabeth, 7 votes for Phyllis. Thank you. Cleveland County. Cleveland County has 41 votes.
Cleveland County has 32 votes for Phyllis and 6 votes for Liz.
Okay, Cleveland County votes 6 votes for Elizabeth Austin, 32 votes for Phyllis Klugas. Next county is Comanche County with 14 votes. Okay, and Comanche County is in the chat saying they have 14 votes for Elizabeth and 0 for Phyllis. Garvin County, 5.
We have 3 votes for Elizabeth and 2 votes for Phyllis.
3 votes for Elizabeth Austin, 2 votes for Phyllis. McLean County, 4 votes.
Yes, this is Cherie McNall, Chair, and we have 4 votes for Phyllis, 0 for Austin.
Okay, McLean County, 0 votes Austin, 4 votes Klugas. Oklahoma County, 6 votes.
Yes, we have 6 votes for Klugas and no votes for Austin.
All right, Oklahoma County, 0 votes Austin, 6 votes Klugas. Pontotoc County, 4 votes.
Pontotoc County, home of the Ada Cougars and Larry Bush, who led the Cougars to the state title as quarterback in 1991. We're going to cast 6 votes because we have 2 delegates that aren't being counted for Phyllis.
Okay, 6 votes for Klugas. Which vote?
Yes, please.
Okay, hang on a second. Okay. And Stevens County, 1.
1 vote. 1 vote for Elizabeth.
All right.
All right, so.
Okay, that was a total votes of 87 votes and 29 votes for Elizabeth Austin, 58 votes for Elizabeth Klugas. That's 33% Austin, 67% Klugas.
Okay. So that means that Phyllis has been elected vice chair.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Phyllis.
Congratulations, Phyllis.
Yep.
Congratulations, Phyllis.
Mazel tov, Phyllis.
Yeah.
Linda,
And so now we have.
I just want to come back for the vote.
33% to 67.
So the next order of business is the first affirmative action delegate. And this is a little different. In past years, one was designated a male affirmative action delegate,
And
another
point of order, secretary.
Point of order.
Secretary.
Sorry, secretary, I totally forgot. You're right, secretary.
So you'll be taking nominations for secretary?
So now do we take the nominations for secretary?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Mark Ashton from Comanche County. I nominate Michael Cookie as secretary of the 4th District Party.
Gary Harris of Pontotoc County. I second the nomination of Michael Cookie for party secretary.
What are you doing?
Is there
And
another?
I apologize. Can I get who was the second?
Gary Harris of Pontotoc.
Thank you, Gary.
Are there any other nominations for secretary?
I would. Can you hear me? Phyllis Kluges from McLean County. I would like to nominate Kimberly Eaton from Garvin County to be secretary.
I decline.
You decline? Okay.
Secretary, yes, I decline.
Okay. Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations for secretary?
I move that we accept Michael Cookie as our secretary by acclamation. Steve Jarman, Garvin County.
Steve, you have to wait until the nominations are closed before you can do that.
Thank you.
I guess third and final time, is there any more nominations for secretary?
I'm not sure who's supposed to be nominating me today, but that is why I'm here.
I suggest you text someone and ask them to nominate you.
Oh, then I had phone numbers to do that. I'll nominate her.
Thank you.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Diane Crow, Stevens County.
Yes, sir.
He'll need a second.
Yes.
Mark Matthews from McLean County. I'll go ahead and second that.
Okay.
Point of order, can someone state the name of the candidate?
Donna Harding.
And Donna, which county are you in?
I'm in Cleveland County.
You're in Cleveland, right? Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we have two candidates for secretary, Donna and Mike.
You'll have to close the nominations again, Larry.
Okay, okay. All right, so we have two nominations for Donna and Mike for secretary. And so now do we vote?
No.
No?
First, ask 3 more times whether there are any more nominees.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, is there any more nominations for secretary? Again, is there any more nominations for secretary? If there's not any more nominations for secretary, or is there any more nominations for secretary?
Larry, are the nominations closed?
The nominations are closed. Thank you. Thank you for your help. Thanks for the assist, Alicia.
And now we have speeches that are again nominating speech of 2 minutes for each candidate, seconding speech of 1 minute for each candidate, and then a 2-minute speech by each candidate in the order they were nominated. And I've been keeping time, but I don't know if the candidates have been able to, or the speakers have been able to see me. I've been putting time signals in the chat, but if people would rather have me do hand signals, I can do that way, whatever's most convenient for people giving speeches.
I've seen your time in the chat. It's fine.
Okay.
Me too.
Good.
Thank you, Ben.
Ben, I'm also kind of like doing a hand count. If they go over and you say done,
yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and at about 5 seconds over, I'm hitting the mute button.
Okay.
So the first round, they were okay within my little.
All right.
All right, so now do we have our first speech?
And this would be a nominating speech for our first candidate.
So this is Mark Ashton.
This is Mark Ashton, Comanche County delegate. Mike Cookie has been an executive on the executive council of the Oklahoma Democratic Party Veterans Committee. He's a prior chair of the Comanche County Democratic Party, past vice chair for the Comanche County Democratic Party, has been and is the chair of precinct number 49 in Comanche County. He served 8 years in the United States Air Force and served during the Vietnam War. Retired. He's retired now. He works as a systems and software engineer from Lockheed Martin Corporation. One of the things that impresses me about Michael is that I've seen him in action. He is a detail man who has a mission. That's a rare combination of people. He's for action, and he's for taking the party to new heights. He's dedicated. He's smart. He was smart enough to marry an Okie and moved to Oklahoma from Detroit. And he's, in my book, he's a patriot. He's a United States veteran and committed to action. He lives in rural Oklahoma, rural Comanche County. He's sensitive to rural Oklahoma issues, especially rural Oklahoma Democratic issues. He's a detailed person with a mission. And if this had been a live presentation today, if we'd been there in person, I'd been handing out bags of cookies to everybody so you wouldn't forget his name. Vote for Mike Cookie. Looks like he had one of the cookies. I got one to him.
So now there's a 2-minute nominating speech for our second candidate.
This would be by Phyllis.
No, Diana Crow from Stevens County nominated
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Donna Hardy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That one was, yeah.
Don Crow.
Okay, I'm nominating Donna from Comanche County. She's been a great help to answer questions, any questions that arise out in Stevens County, where we are in sore need of a lot of help. Her dedication and attention to detail is well known, and her presence is inspiring, and her dedication I can't say enough about. She's there for you. She'll answer all your questions, and she'll take care of everything you need to be concerned with. And her push and drive are, her fame precedes her, as far as I'm concerned, in Stevens County, and she'll be a great benefit, great asset to the entire CD4 team. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, now you will do seconding speeches, starting with the person who nominated, I can't remember the other name.
Gary
Mr.
Harris will
Cookie.
give this one. Yeah.
Yes, hi. I'm Gary Harris, Vice Chair of the Pontotoc Democrats and Secretary of the ODP Veterans Committee. I'm very pleased to second the nomination of Michael Cookie as our 4th District Party Secretary. I've gotten to know Mike on the Veterans Committee, where his energy, enthusiasm, and follow-through have fully vindicated our decision to elect him as CD4 representative on our executive committee, a post which will nicely complement the role I hope will entrust to him today. I think Mark has already adequately summarized his impressive credentials. I'd like to point out that the CD4 district committee really did not function at all during the last election cycle. And we dearly need that kind of support. I believe that with Larry, Phyllis, and I hope Michael in leadership roles, we can change that. I think we will hear from them. They will listen to us, and they can all help us.
Okay, so now we have our second nomination speech for Diana Crow.
This will be Mark Matthews.
Hello, my name is Mark Matthews, and I second the nomination for Donna Harding. As far as I know, she is a very upstanding person and works hard for her party. Unfortunately, I wasn't the one who was supposed to nominate her, so I don't have any more details at this time. But I think she would make a great candidate. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mark. So now we vote?
No, now we hear from the candidates.
Now we hear from the candidates.
2 minutes each.
This is Mike Cookie from Comanche County. I'd like to thank Mark and Gary for nominating me, and thank the delegates in advance for at least considering me for this position. I'm not going to want to bore you too much with any more of my biographical details, but I would like to bore you with some numbers for a minute for you to consider, some of which you may have already be aware. There are 15 counties in District 4. 6 of those counties have no delegates representing them at this convention. There are 24 state house seats in District 4. Only 3 of those seats are occupied by a Democrat. There are 12 state Senate seats in District 4, and only 1 of those seats is occupied by a Democrat. I hope you share with me the feeling that these are not satisfactory numbers. How are we going to change them? One thing I think that I could do as secretary to help is to facilitate better communications between the state and the district, and between the district and the counties, and between the counties and their members. We seem to be operating in isolation as little pockets of Democrats scattered throughout the state, but we don't talk to each other. We don't let each other know what's going on. We don't communicate. We don't visit with each other. If we don't work together, we're not going to make much progress. So I think communication is going to be a key to making that work. I thank you for your consideration, and I thank all of you that do decide to vote for me.
Thank you, Mike. And now we will have our speech from our other secretary candidate, Diana Crow, I'm sorry. Is that correct?
No, it's Donna Harding.
Oh, Donna, I'm sorry.
Diane nominated me.
Gotcha.
Anyway, good morning, good morning, good morning. I know some of you are a little confused and surprised. My running for this position came sort of last minute, which is why I'm not sure who was supposed to nominate me. I was approached by Senator Connie Johnson and asked if I would be interested in running for this position to help the Democratic Party. And I said, yes, I've been a lifelong Democrat. The day I turned 18, I went down and registered as a Democrat. I was born and raised in Duncan, America. So I find it completely ironic that Diane is the one who nominated me today. It's my home county. And I became very politically active when I started attending University of Oklahoma. So go Sooners. So my background is in technical writing and corporate communications. I specialize in pharmaceutical and medical device companies. So I've worked for some of those names that you've seen on the news lately, like Abbott and AbbVie and those guys. And what I bring to this position is, again, my lifelong activism and my ability to organize. I also do project management. So I feel like I would be a great asset for helping Democrats expand here in the state. I too believe in what Larry said, which is that I think Oklahoma would benefit from pushing a Stacey Abrams-like agenda here in Oklahoma, where we just run the ground game. They don't see us coming because they don't expect it. We just got to get out and work together and work everybody and help them to see that we have a common vision and that together we can succeed. And thank you.
Thank you, Donna. And now that we've heard from both of our candidates, we take it to a vote.
I'm going to turn the breakout rooms back on. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Jamie.
Okay. So this is still the main session. So I'm going to try to get, oh, people are still going. Let's see. Diane, Miss Crow, you're going to hang out over here and you can talk to people if they come back and get lost. Bill Guy, I'm going to try to get you to join the Cleveland County room. Bill didn't work. Okay. So if you'll tell me your vote, I'll go in there and tell them what your vote was, if that's okay. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, I'm voting for Donna.
Okay, I'm gonna go over there and then I will report your count. If you can see that where you can like try to join, maybe we'll.
I did get a thing that popped up that said join, but then it put me in the main room and then popped me back. But that's okay as long as my votes counted.
I have a notification that this meeting is streaming live on YouTube. Does anyone else see that?
Haven't seen it, but I know they announced it.
Yeah, I see it.
I did not know I was live all of a sudden for the world to see. I would have dressed up.
Oh, you look handsome. No problem. You got it. I'd vote for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
What's the room? Am I still in the break room?
Liz, Austin Jenkins, could you come to the Carter County breakout room to place your vote?
June. Hush. Hush. Where's your toys? That toy? Where's your toy? Where's your toy? Where's your toy? Your dog spanking. Your dog spanking. Your toys. You giving me a toy. What's pink?
A space.
What's pink?
Okay, I closed the breakout room, so we should all be zapped back in. If Chairman Bush is available, or if he's not, then we could. Vice Chair Kluges.
Sam made it back.
Phyllis, are you here somewhere?
I'm back. Sam's back. Yay.
Larry's not made it back. Oh, there he is. Okay, he can take back over here. Oh, I'm gonna unmute you.
All right.
I think I was a failure of rural American broadband. I'm back.
Can ask Kathy to do the roll call again for votes.
Sure will.
Kathy, will you do? Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Chairman.
Yes, Kathy, will you do the roll call for the votes?
All right, we'll go in the same order. Canadian County, 4 votes.
Yes, 4 votes for Mike Coffey.
Canadian County, 4 for Cookie, 0
Oh,
Harding.
Cookie, I'm sorry, yes.
That's fine. We'll get it. Carter County, 9 votes.
So we have 0 votes for Mike Cookie, 8 votes for Donna Harding, and I have 1 no vote with Miss Austin having issues with her internet.
Okay. Can we, if she calls in, can we come back to her at the end? Or we'll just keep going and let somebody else sort this out. Cleveland County, 41 votes.
We have 22 votes for Cookie and 16 votes for Donna Harding.
Okay, Cleveland County, 22 Cookie, 16 Harding. Comanche County, 14 votes. Comanche County?
It's in the chat.
All
Oh, I'm
14.
sorry. I'm looking at the wrong monitor, sorry. 22. No, that's Cleveland.
It's right here.
Oh, there, where's Comanche? I
Larry,
see-
can you give a report, or anybody?
I see
It
Canadian.
was 14. I believe all 14 voted for Mike.
All Comanche, 14 for Cookie,
That's
0 for
correct.
Harding. Okay. Garvin County, 5.
All 5 votes for Cookie.
5 Cookie, 0 Harding. McLean County, 4 votes.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to keep track. Which county was that?
That was Garvin County, 5 votes for Cookie, 0 Harding. Okay, so the next step is McLean County, 4.
All 4 votes for Cookie.
4 for Cookie, 0 Harding. Oklahoma County, 6 votes.
4 votes for Cookie, none for Harding.
Okay, 4 Cookie, 0 Harding. Pontotoc County, 6 votes.
If
Okay.
if Laura sometimes loses internet connection, I'm the vice chair of Pontotoc.
Okay, I'm on, Gary.
Sure.
It goes back and forth to mute and unmute. Pontotoc County cast 6 votes for Michael Cooksey.
6 for Cookie, 0 Harding. And Stevens County, 1 vote.
Yeah.
I don't touch it, it goes to bed.
1 vote for Harding.
1 for Harding, 0 for Cookie. Okay,
25.
so that's 84 total votes. We had 1 missing because of tech issues. Which
I'm
one?
sorry, this is Dessa Dawson from Oklahoma, and I reported that incorrectly. It was
Okay.
6 for Cookie
Okay,
and 0 for Harding.
6 for Cookie, 0 Harding. Okay, gotcha. All
Sorry.
right, that's okay. That puts us as 86 with the 1 missing in tech. Are we going to be able to try to get the one we lost? Was that Comanche?
No, it was.
No, we got
Was that-
14.
Which one was it that?
It was Carter.
Carter. Oh, that's right. Were you able to get a hold of her?
No, we've tried to reach out to her and we have not been able to get a hold of her to this point.
Okay. So how do we proceed? Do I give you the total of without that one then?
Did you get Oklahoma?
Yeah.
6.
6.
Okay, so what the total that I have now is 61 votes for Michael Cookie, 25 votes for Donna Harding. That's 71% and 29%.
Congratulations,
All right,
Mike.
congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations.
So Mike is now our secretary. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you, Larry.
Hey, Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
as if Mike would agree, if the new, I've been serving as the convention secretary. Mike, technically you take over at this point, but I am more than happy to continue taking minutes. If you want to take your own minutes and we can compare notes later, however you want to do that works best for me.
Let's work that way.
Thank you.
Garrett, thank you. Thank you for taking notes. I've taken some too, but I may have missed quite a few names and things like that. So
thank you. No, that's great. Thank you.
Minutes this way with two people. If you want to stop though, feel free.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, affirmative action. But, you know, something can bubble.
So now the next order of business is the first affirmative action delegate.
So we have the first nominated for affirmative action.
Point of clarification.
Yes.
Ben, because the rules for affirmative action have been modified this cycle, do you mind reading those?
Certainly. So instead of having one male and one female affirmative action delegate, the party rules now specify that the two affirmative action delegates must be of different genders. That means neither, the Democratic Party recognizes three gender identities, male, female, and non-binary. Because of that, this election is a little different. Anybody can run for the first affirmative action delegate. And then after that election is resolved, candidates of a different gender from whoever is elected to the first affirmative action delegate can run for the second affirmative action delegate.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Point of clarification or order or whatever. A candidate's nominee could wait until the second. Okay.
What was the question?
Just wanted to clarify that not all affirmative action candidates need to run on the first race.
No.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, you can open up for nominations for the affirmative action slot 1.
Okay. I now open nomination for affirmative action slot 1. Is there any nominations?
I do. This is Phyllis Klugas. I'm from McLean County. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I would like to nominate Kimberly Eaton from Garvin County for affirmative action.
This is Christopher Eziobelli, Carter County. I second the nomination for Kimberly Eaton of Garvin County.
Okay.
Real quick, can I have the name of the seconder real quick, or if I can find you?
It is Christopher.
There we are.
Last
I found
name
you.
is spelled. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have our second nomination for affirmative action.
Mr. Chairman, are there any more nominations?
Is there any more nominations for affirmative action? Is there any more nomination for affirmative action?
This is for slot 1.
Yep.
Is there any more nominations for affirmative action slot 1? Okay, there are no more nominations for affirmative action slot 1.
I move that we accept Kimberly Eaton by acclamation, Steve Jarman, Darden County.
Second, Don Eckhoff, Canadian.
Our rules actually specify that if there is only one delegate, one
So
nominee,
moved.
that automatically happens. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Kimberly.
Congratulations.
Mr. Chairman, now I think it's time to call for nominees for the second slot.
Okay, all right. And nomination for the second slot, affirmative action. Do we have any nominations for the second slot?
I have a nomination. This is Kathy Rotfuss from Cleveland County. I nominate Travis Darling for affirmative action.
And hi, this is Madison Pierce, also from Cleveland County. I would like to second the nomination of Travis Darling for Affirmative Action Committee.
Okay.
Can you tell what Charlie Coker was attending or not?
I didn't see him.
And now we hear from the candidates.
Any more nominations?
And is there any more nominations for that second slot for affirmative action? Are there any more nominations for the second slot for affirmative action? For a third and final time, is there any more nominations for the second slot for affirmative action? If there are no more, then we will hear from the candidates. Is that correct?
No. Since there's only one nominee,
Right.
Travis Darling is our second affirmative action officer.
Congratulations, Travis.
Congratulations, Travis.
Congrats, Travis.
Thank you all.
Congratulations, Travis.
Congrats.
Congrats, Travis.
Can we hear from each of the people that got those slots?
For the agenda.
That's up to you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we can hear from the first slot, Kimberly
Eaton. Looks-
Eaton. Thank you,
Looks
Kimberly.
like, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It looks like Eaton, pronounced Eaton. Good evening, fellow Democrats. Glad to be among you all once again. For those of you all that don't know me, I'm two past chairman of the CD4, vice chair of the CD4, past Garvin County chair. Also, I am elated to work as affirmative action officer. And one of the things that I would like to say that we will have a format on Facebook where we can get all of our concerns mounted together, because in the past we would have meetings with the Central Committee, and affirmative action would meet separately, where we can all come together and pose whatever concerns that you have regarding the affirmative action for those who may feel disenfranchised, either by race, gender, or sex. So also once in this position, I have ideas that I will run by our chair, where we can maybe do an annual symposium, and of course have with the ongoing voter registration, basically just to help anyone who may feel disenfranchised for whatever reason. Also, once we get those people in our counties, and just like Mike Cookie said, we need to get on the ground and start running, just basically being silent and just go about our business, then we can get where we can train the people in such aspects as band training. So I'm looking forward to working with our new officers, and thank you once again for nominating me and seconding my nomination. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kimberly. And now can we hear from the second affirmative action, Travis Darling?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll abridge the speech I had a little bit because some of it's not relevant. I don't have to beg and grovel for your votes anymore, but basically a little bit about me to start out. I'm 30 years old. I'm non-binary. I'm engaged to my fiance, Jordan, and I've lived in Oklahoma for about 14 years now. Came out here to attend OU and ended up with a Bachelor of Science in Geography. I work for the city of Norman in their utilities department, and I am an officer in our local labor union.
Good.
AFSCME 2875. So I have done some advocacy on that portion, working with people who feel aggrieved with their employment. So I'm used to kind of being a mediator and a counselor for those people. In addition, I claim multiple letters on the LGBT plus spectrum. So I really want to advocate for the approximately 6% of Oklahomans who are LGBT plus. I want to make sure that the policies and procedures we have don't discriminate against them in any way. But I also want to focus on issues of accessibility in general, especially with those who have physical or mental disabilities. With this meeting, I understand it's a pandemic, it's the best we can do, and I'm very grateful for the closed captions that we have down there. But if someone has a processing disorder, maybe they can't read very fast, those closed captions disappear quickly. We need to have ways to be able to work with them to help them access the information being presented in this meeting. So I'm excited to work with the committee, find out some good low cost, cost-effective options that will also help us reach out and not disenfranchise anyone in any way, shape, or form. So thank you guys for supporting me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kathy and Madison, for the nomination and the second.
Thank you very much, Travis. And now at this point,
Ben, where are we in the agenda?
We next, Mr. Chairman, it's now in order to call on the chair of the Resolutions Committee, Kathy Rand, to present the report of the Resolutions Committee for the consideration of the convention.
All right, Kathy, if you will do that, thank you. Ben.
Hi, everyone. So can everyone hear me?
We can hear you.
Are you
Yes.
able to hear me?
Yes.
You can. Okay, great. So I had the honor of being elected to serve as a District 4 delegate for Bernie Sanders at the Democratic National Convention. So I want to thank you for honoring and trusting me with that honor. And I'm honored to serve as the chair of the Resolutions Committee for this convention. I want to thank Wesley Forbes, who served with me on this committee. We came to a consensus on these resolutions before you. The Oklahoma Democratic Party bylaws state the responsibilities for our Resolutions Committee, and we are to review resolutions proposed to the convention, propose resolutions on the initiative of our own members, revise and draft resolutions, recommend and adopt resolutions in the report, recommend the adoption of resolutions in the report to the convention, and also make available to the delegates the resolutions that we recommended at least 72 hours prior to the convention date. Normally the resolutions are printed, but that's not feasible for the virtual conventions. We started from our previous set of resolutions from 2019 as a Google document. Then we incorporated updates for each of the county conventions. Each of us on the committee also made suggestions to the document, like comments in Word, and then we discussed them later in the Zoom meeting. We worked to make the format consistent and to consolidate repetitions. We also tried to format each resolution so it could be quoted as a standalone statement rather than a bullet point phrase. That's important because at the National Convention, there was a major discussion and vote about whether our national platform would include support for universal single-payer healthcare. And organizers in the discussion asked delegates to report on whether their state platform included it. So I emailed organizers a quote from, even though I repeatedly asked for a copy of the Oklahoma platform, it was never provided. It wasn't available. So I emailed organizers a quote from our 4th district resolutions that did include it and said that I understood that it was incorporated into the state platform from our district. When we voted on the platform at the National Convention, many of us voted no because it excluded universal single payer health care that was supported by the majority of the state platforms. We lost that vote. You may ask, why do we care? It's just a platform. Candidates don't have to follow a platform, and that's true, but we are the conscience of this party. This platform represents our aspirations and goals, the aspirations and goals of the people who do the work for this party. And so our committee set out to make sure that the resolutions were based on the values, our values as Democrats. For the Cleveland County resolutions, I worked on suggestions to bring to the committee for about 11 hours. We spent about 8 hours discussing and coming to a consensus. For this convention, Wesley and I spent about 3 hours discussing and coming to a consensus, and we accepted help from formatting from Kathy Rotfuss, and we thank her for that. We received excellent resolutions from around CD4. Gary Harris, Vice Chair in Pontotoc County, submitted a resolution supporting H1S1, the For the People Act, and we incorporated that into our resolution. Received several resolutions from Gary Edmondson of Stevens County, and supporting voting for all constitutional amendments in general elections, changing the statute of limitations for civil complaints, and banning property seizures without due process. We incorporated much of them as well. The committee also received many proposed amendments to the ODP Constitution and bylaws and to the National Democratic Party Charter. The resolutions committees do not have responsibility for those, and they will be forwarded to the State Constitution and Bylaws Committee to be addressed at the state convention. In Cleveland County, we made separate sections for resolutions on free speech and free press, and on Native American tribes and tribal sovereignty, and on Democratic Party responsibilities. And I especially thank Stephanie Moser-Goins for her work on the Native American section. She's an attorney who works with tribal law, on tribal law, and it was incredibly helpful to have her as an attorney advising us on wording throughout the process in Cleveland County. Thank you for reading the resolutions. We have not received any additional resolutions and petitions at all. And so we ask that you adopt our resolutions as submitted. And I guess we would ask that someone move that we do that.
I think you just did, and I'm going to second it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, you have a motion on the floor that is moved and seconded.
I second that.
So no, at this point, you can call for a vote.
Okay. Is there a vote? Do we have a vote?
All in favor of the resolutions as submitted.
Gotcha. All in favor of the resolution as submitted, say aye.
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 I think it's unanimous.
Aye.
I think we have 87 members.
I'm not familiar with the procedure, but hopefully.
We have a point of inquiry.
You can't do the point of inquiry until the vote is over.
Okay.
The vote is not unanimous. I oppose.
Yeah, you have to call for opposition, Mr. Chairman.
Is there opposition to the resolution, or are there any oppositions to the resolution?
There is.
What's his name?
Okay.
Dr. Robert.
The ayes still have it though, Mr. Chairman.
I still have it.
So you don't speak?
You can speak. Do I give him permission to speak on that?
Well, you have to close the vote. So you have to say that I still have it, and then you do the point of.
Okay.
Guys.
Close.
This is your meeting, Mr. Chairman, so you have to call it.
Okay. So we've already called. Now we call a vote for the resolution.
No. The ayes have it.
Okay, I have it. Okay, I don't have a gavel, but I have it.
Larry, you have to say it out loud for the minutes. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have the vote. And then you can move to the point of order.
Okay. So I just call the order. Is that
No,
correct?
you say exactly what she just said.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
I'm sorry, I can't even hear what you said.
Oh. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Okay, got it. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Thank you.
Yes, now you go to the point of order.
Okay. Now the point of order. Is that the additional business? Or?
No. Someone made a point of inquiry, so you.
Yeah.
Yes, I just had a question for Kathy on our resolutions team. In the interest of time and clarity, if there was anything major within the resolutions that she thought should be brought before the body.
Point of order.
Okay. Or is it too late? Too late. Okay. Never mind.
Mr. Chairman, you have 3 raised hands. You have Betty Harris. I think it's Demetria Jackson. Another hand went down. So you have a raised hand, Betty Harris.
And so we recognize Betty Harris.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I would like to mention a few things that I noticed in reviewing the resolutions. And in fact, I was the chair of the resolutions committee for the Federation, Democratic Federation of Women's Clubs. And I wanted to mention here that on line 30 in the healthcare section, there is no mention of abortion and the restrictions and bans that are the attempts to impose them by the legislature. And then on line 440, with the McGirt rulings extension to other tribes, the Attorney General is—
Point of order. This is out of order.
I want to do this for the record.
It's too late to do this for the record.
No, I'm just mentioning it and going forward. These resolutions are always being revised in some way. And I want to mention those things. And I am a longstanding member of the party and, in good standing. And I want to say these things, and if the chair will allow me to do so, I will do so. I have a few more things to indicate. And this is a problem. we have to have our ability to speak.
Betty, thank you very much.
Could you say that to
will you bring that to the state convention?
Sorry?
Thank you for your concerns. Will you bring those to the state convention, please?
Okay, but I want to mention one more issue. Black Lives Matter only has the B in Black capitalized. It should be Black Lives Matter, an organization, and that needs to be corrected. And that's line 486.
You have one more hand raised, and that's Ben Alpers.
Okay, Ben, I recognize Ben.
I think I already expressed my point of order that was out of order, but I withdraw it since we're now done with it.
And we have another hand that's raised, is that right?
Yes, there was a gentleman that had made a point of order at the beginning of all of this,
when we were still voting on the resolutions and you had him stand by to wait until it's ended. We have never heard from this individual as yet. Did he withdraw his point of order, or did he leave the chat, or what? I mean, if he's there and he wants to be heard, he needs to be heard, because he was the first one that brought up a question.
Okay, can we recognize that individual?
Troy, was that in the chat?
Ben should maybe have known who it, huh? Ben
It was
should know who it was, because he's the one, or Angela.
Not me.
I'm sorry, because they're the ones that told him he was going to have to wait till the resolutions had been voted on. So I don't know the guy's name. I didn't really keep it down, but he was the first one to bring up a question before we had ever even finished the vote on the resolution.
Dr. Greenstreet from Pontotoc County.
No, I didn't
If he's
have a
still
point
there,
of order. I did not raise a point of order.
Troy, I said a point of inquiry based on a comment in the chat. I was commenting from the chat, which was Phyllis, because I wasn't sure anyone was watching the chat. I don't have a point of inquiry.
And Mr. Green, Dr. Greenstreet was making a point that no one had called for the opposition. And so that was addressed.
It was.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure, because I had never really figured out if it had been addressed, and I felt like that he needed to have his question addressed. Thank you.
Absolutely need to make sure everyone is heard. I agree.
Okay, do we need to recognize anyone else?
Okay, so you have Gary Harris.
Wait, Eric Hermanson has a hand up too. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, if I may, I just wanted to say that I want to commend the Resolutions Committee for doing a fine job. I imagine there are several of us, like Miss Betty Harris, who probably have points they want to raise. This isn't really a forum where we can do that. We can't make amendments are not in order. I suggest that someone delineate for all of us the best way if we want to send memorialize something to the state resolutions committee. What is the proper channel to do that? So that if we have any concerns, points we want to raise, we can get that concern to the state party.
Well, we have the state chair on the line, so I think she would be an appropriate person to ask.
I don't want to jump the line, so I will go last, but I will address Gary's issue.
Okay, all right. Do we need to recognize anyone else?
Yes.
So you have hands up of Eric. All I can see is the HER, and then Ben Alpers had his hand up as well.
Okay, Eric, if you'll proceed. Is Eric still with us?
I've asked him to unmute.
I think I am. Am I there? Just,
Yes,
can you hear
Eric,
me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying, in the past, if there's any kind of grammatical errors, that can be corrected and before it's sent on to the state. That's just a friendly amendment. We actually took the vote before we allowed to make any changes in grammar or things like that, which I think Betty was more directed at that. But we've already taken a vote, so it's a little late. But grammatical changes can be made. That would be fine. That's all I had to say.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you have Ben Alpers.
Okay, Ben.
Sorry, parliamentarians are never anybody's friend. I just want to note that the only people who can be recognized and can speak are delegates to the convention. And some non-delegates are raising their hands. Mr. Chairman, and it's not in order for them to offer comments.
Okay. And we recognize, no, we don't have any more.
I know I'm talking a lot, Ben, but I'm kind of exercising some ex officio here.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, exactly. So to help you out, Chairman, it's
Yes.
people who have the four letters in front of their name. They
Yes.
are delegates, and that's who you can recognize to speak, if that helps you.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. Is there anyone else that we need to recognize?
Mr. Chair, this is Mark Ashton of Comanche County. I
Thank you, Mark.
don't have any comment on the resolutions, but I would hope that our state chair would, in her comments, would address what we need to be doing about suppressing the vote in Oklahoma and how we need to be organizing against those continuous Republican efforts.
Thank you, Mark. Ben?
No,
You
that's
have your
just
hand?
applause for being against vote suppression.
Okay, gotcha. All right, thank you. I've got the applause down now.
So, Mr. Chairman, there were a couple of questions posed to me, and I think that I've waded through the hand raises. I'm not going out of line. So, one, how do you submit your resolutions to the state level? Out on okdemocrats.org under the and tab, there is a resolution submission tab, and I'm sorry to say this word, but it is a Google form that you'll upload. You'll upload, and the state resolutions committee will then start working those. So that's how you get those submitted. Someone asked that question, and I don't remember who it was. Zoom is killing me. I'm so ready to meet. I don't know if this is a time, and I don't want to be out of order, Mr. Chairman, but if there is some time, I would like to give just a couple of remarks from the state.
Okay.
At the end of your meeting.
All right, thank you. Do we need to recognize anybody else at this time?
Mr. Chairman, I'll take that. I'll take that. Since this body voted to move the resolutions forward as stated, I can't remember who it was, but that said that grammatical errors can be updated before being submitted to the state, but you can still submit resolutions to the state through convention. So if there are resolutions that you don't feel were covered at your county level or at your district level, you still have another opportunity at the state level. Just traditionally how this works, a lot of people aren't even aware of the resolutions or too busy to have looked at the resolutions, or if this is the moment when they hear what the resolutions are and it sparks more resolutions that they want to make. And that is aligned with our process, and you are allowed to continue to make resolutions. I hope that's helpful.
Thank you very much. Do we need to recognize anyone else, or do we move to the additional business?
Looks like additional business, sir.
Okay. Is there any additional business? That needs to be addressed?
Jamie Shelton, Cleveland County. I think this would be additional business or an announcement, but in the past, we've always passed a hat at convention as a way to give some seed money to the executive, the new CD4 officers. Cleveland County has created a Act Blue donation link that will be, any donations would go to Cleveland County, but we're going to turn around immediately and just write a check to the CD4 officers to add some additional funds to that that checking account that we talked about earlier. So I'm hoping that Kathy, there she is, perfect, has posted the link to that Act Blue donation site in the chat. And then we'll also do a follow-up email to all delegates following this with the Act Blue link and then also our PO box. So then that way we can turn around and hopefully, last time we had $500+ in the Pass the Hat, so we'll hopefully get there again this year. That's my additional business / announcement. Sorry if I'm out of order.
Is there any other additional business or announcements that need to be made?
I have a question. Can we post that link on our county pages?
That's a good question. James?
It can go to whoever in the world you want to give money to the CD4 people. So share it to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
And Kathy put our PO box in the chat too. Just mark on the memo line CD4 so we know, or put a note on it.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to comment,
Yes.
add to Jamie's comment. And just so everyone's aware, that's a specifically marked link so that whenever that comes into Cleveland County's Act Blue account, it's specifically marked for CD4. So we'll be able to show that in case there are any questions about it later.
Thank you, Jared. If there are no
Green had his
additional,
hand up.
I'm sorry.
Troy Green had his hand up.
Okay, Troy, go ahead.
Well, really, I was just wanting to ask them, some people don't do Act Blue. Can we just send a check to the Cleveland County Party at their PO box and specify that it's to go to CD4?
Yes, and I posted our PO box in the chat, and please mark in the memo that it's for CD4. And I believe the CD4 also has their own checking account, but considering we're all dispersed, unless there's a address where the new administration would like to send checks directly to the CD4, we're happy to go ahead and collect it in Cleveland County and write one check to the CD4 and get it directly to them. But our PO box is in the chat, and be sure you mark it or include a note that it's for CD4, and we'll make sure we put that with the Act Blue donations.
Thank you, Kathy.
You bet.
Thank you, Troy. Is there anyone else that we need to recognize at this point?
Mr. Chairman, Mary Ann Smith and Cleveland County Eric HER both have their hands up.
Okay, Marianne, we recognize Marianne Smith. Thank you, Marianne.
Oh, I'm sorry. I asked my question and you answered it. Thank you very much. I just don't know how to remove my hand.
Okay, and the second individual again who had their hand raised?
It's Eric.
Eric
from Cleveland County.
Thank you, Eric. Go ahead, Eric. Eric, are you still
He's
with
muted.
us?
He's muted.
Yeah.
I touched the wrong button. I didn't mean to do that.
Okay.
He comes see.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
This how many people are
Is there anyone else that we need to recognize at this point? No?
No, sir.
If there's not any further,
Catherine Hewitt from Cleveland County just raised her hand.
okay. All right, I recognize Catherine.
I just want to thank you, Larry. I know it's been stressful on you, but for your first time, I just want to say thank you for doing what you did. And I know it's been hard, but you did okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That means a lot. So I'm sure
Larry
I'll
is
get better
proof.
with more experience.
Larry has proved his values, taken on the Republicans twice in elections. He's a good man.
Still fighting, and we're still fighting. We got a lot of work to do, but I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that. It means a lot. I'll continue to work hard and do what I can to get this state blue.
Thank you.
As it used to be.
In the good old days.
Is there any more announcements or?
Taylor Broadbent has her hand up. Or their hand
Okay.
up.
Hi, all. I just have a quick announcement. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, go
Chair.
ahead, Taylor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, for recognizing me.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Taylor Broadbent. I'm the College Democrats of Oklahoma president. I was just elected a couple of weeks ago. I do have some quick notes about
Congratulations.
things that are affecting college students. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Oklahoma legislature just passed HB 1775, which will be heading to the governor's desk on Wednesday. This is directly attacking our colleges and universities who have been including diversity and inclusion education in our curriculum coming up for our next school year. This bill bans us from being able to do that. And our schools have been putting a lot of money, effort, and our students have been needing this education for a long time. So I would encourage you all to reach out to your state representatives at this point, but more than likely call the governor's office. Not that we think that he will do anything, but make your voices heard on this because your students really need your support. Additionally, please reach out to the College Democrats page. We have a statement put out on the bill that you can read on our Facebook page, our Instagram, and our Twitter, all that stuff. You can find it on our Facebook, which is College Democrats of Oklahoma. So yeah, please engage with your college students in your districts and your counties.
Can you give us the bill number again?
Yes, it's House Bill 1775.
Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor, for providing us with that information. I encourage everyone to visit the webpage and Facebook. Thank you. Is there anyone else that we need to recognize at this point?
Jamie Shelton.
Okay, I recognize Jamie Shelton.
Thank you, Chairman. Hey, I kind of got to take over some of the Facebook page, or not take over, but help with the Facebook page for CD4 last week, and kind of helping spread some of the convention news. That is still going to be there. It's alive, and so the new officers will get access to that. We also have started a Facebook group, so we can hopefully do some organizing in the district together through communication there. So you saw that probably pop up in the last week. I sent an email out to everyone who's a delegate with the links to it. Please join that, and let's really work together and build a network. Call your county next door and be on the buddy system to work together, especially if there's just a few of you, like Cleveland and McLean County need to be working together. But get those things, make friends, and then we'll all see each other soon, and we won't have to rely on Zoom calls and Facebook to do our work.
Mr. Chairman, Troy Green has his hand up.
I recognize Troy Green.
Yeah, this is kind of for Jamie, but I guess you also, since you're taking over the, as chair of the CD4, I am an administrator on the CD4 Facebook page, and I'm the one that it got, Jamie put on as an administrator, and I would really like to take my name off of it as soon as I could. So if Jamie's going to stay on there, then he can install the new administrators. If not, then I plan on just, if you'll contact me, I'll install you or try to install you as an administrator on that Facebook page. And then I'm going to try and remove myself from it. So whatever y'all want to do about that.
Mr. Chairman, yes. I'm not a delegate, but I am the one that started the CD4 page. This is Kimberly Eaton, and I can take care of that for you, Troy.
Okay. All right, Kimberly, thank you very much.
Kimberly, I just want to say, I want to make sure that there's still people on there that can put these people on there as administrator. So
Yeah,
thank you.
there'll be people on there. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, don't forget me before you adjourn, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Was there someone speaking, or do we need to recognize anyone else? Okay, if we don't need to recognize anyone else, then I guess Alicia, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. So I was asked earlier by Mr. Alpers, how are we addressing at the state level what's going on Lincoln? So here's what's going on. I am picking all the fights that I can pick and making sure that we are shining a flashlight and using a megaphone to make sure that people understand what is actually happening at the Capitol. I recently got a fully fleshed out strategic plan approved by the Central Committee that focuses on 3 things. And it's the 3 things that I believe that the party needs to be working on right now. And it's voter expansion. And I'm calling it voter expansion because it's bigger than just voter registration. It's voter registration and engagement until they actually become voters. Because we all know that in Oklahoma, we have a lot of registered voters who do not vote. And so they're, in my mind and in my language, they're registered people. They're not voters until they actually vote. And if we can stay in touch with them until they vote, usually they'll become lifelong voters. So there's voter expansion. Secondly is candidate recruitment. And these are linked because candidates want to know when we're recruiting them and talking to them, they want to know what the registration is in the district that they plan to run on and what our goals are to help them get there. So we're working on candidate recruitment, and we're already, we have 3 very viable candidates that we're talking to for governor. So kind of stay tuned for that. And then the third thing is statewide messaging. I've heard this. This is my 2nd CD convention to attend today. I gave statements at CD2, but messaging is a big deal. It's not lost on me that Democrats writ large feel like they do not know what the Oklahoma Democratic Party stands for or what Oklahoma Democrats stand for. I've been having meetings with the state house leadership and state senate leadership on coordinating messaging. And then recently we invested in a software tool that lets us know what are people searching for on the news and on social media. What are they talking about so that we can tailor our message and get where people are looking. And so messaging is top of mind for me right now, because until we get a good message, 1, it's hard to support candidates, and it's actually hard to recruit candidates. And 2, it's hard to get new non-registered voters to fall in love with us because they don't know what they're falling in love with. And so we've got to do things, and all 3 of those things are what we're working on. Now, with regarding what's going on right now, friend me on Facebook, and it's do the open one. I go live every day and I talk about bills, elected officials, and elections. And every day, every week, I try to target at least 3 bills for us to do advocacy for. Now, as Taylor mentioned, HB 1775 is particularly egregious, and I've been talking about it every week. It's one of those bills where someone decided that it would hurt people's feelings. We talked about diversity in our nation, and they decided that it was some left-wing conspiracy. And so it is a disgusting and gross bill. It did pass the House and Senate, and it does sit on our governor's desk. And I want to amplify Taylor's message. We have got to reach out. Call both your representative and your senator, regardless of their registration. And well, I'm in CD4, so you really only have Mary Boren. So call the Republican on both sides. Call your representative, your senator, and the governor, and express your opposition. They have to keep track of this. And I was at the Capitol this week, and they were waving around papers saying, we're getting all of these emails of support. We need to make sure that they're getting communication of opposition. The debate on HB 1775 this week was horrific, insulting, racist, and uninformed. And we can't let bills like that stand, just like we can't let bills like HB 1674 stand. And I don't know where there is a veto referendum petition going. Well, it's not going around, but it has been filed with the state, and we await the Secretary of State to give us a notice. And I am imploring all of you to get your hands on a petition and not just sign it, but take one of your own and get it field signed. We need 60,000 signatures. That effort is being led by Joshua Harris Till, not the party, but the party is in support of abolishing and revoking HB 1674. That's the protecting motorists if they hit a protester bill that also says if you were the one who got the permit and someone who shows up for the protest does something illegal, you are now charged with organized crime and can be hit with a fine of, I think it's $5,000, a minimum of $5,000. So we've got to revoke that. So I am a big proponent of advocating directly with our legislators, and that's what we have to do since we're in the super minority, because they have a quorum whether Democrats show up or not, so they can do it all without us. But we have to bombard them with information, with our opposition for the garbage bills that they're putting forth. We have to make sure that they hear us. So when they're waving around their papers, that they're waving around papers of opposition. And so that is what we're doing. That's what we're doing for the next 30 days, just before sine die. But going forward, it is about messaging. And I met with legislators this week about how we're going to do joint messaging so that it gets amplified and it gets out more. And I've been meeting with actually someone from your neck of the woods about a different type of internet messaging that we're looking into doing, but it takes money. And so I'm going to put in my plea. I know that Jamie was eloquent in his plea for Congressional District 4, but the state also could use money to do some of these efforts. And I will say that the party is solvent. So any money that you donate forward will actually not be paying for yesterday's problems, but they will be paying for tomorrow's promise. And so I asked you to go out to okdemocrats.org/donate. Sign up for $5 a month. That would be incredibly helpful. Didn't mean to do that, but I have to. I'm the chair. I have to ask for money everywhere I go. But I do want you to know that Ben particularly and Comanche County, because I heard you guys really talking about messaging. Messaging is top of mind. We are actually investing money into programs to improve our messaging. And then I'm done, Chairman. Well, one more thing. I do want to say thank you all for being here on a Saturday and being so thoughtful and getting all this done and hanging in here for this entire meeting. And I'm grateful to Cleveland County for stepping up and hosting this convention. CD4 has been a little tumultuous in this last 2 years. And when I put in the call and said, I fear that CD4 isn't going to have a convention, would you guys help me out? Cleveland County not only said yes, but they showed up and they did a very good job. And I want to say thank you for that. I'm really done now, Mr. Chairman.
You have two hands raised.
If these bills pass, is there going to be legal things that happen in Oklahoma to rebuke them?
I'll take that question if you don't mind. I have already been looking into those options and exploring what we can do, as well as talking with different college administrations. about what they're willing to do as well. So look for that in the coming days. If the governor does sign this, everything from that point goes forward.
Additionally, the ACLU is compiling a list of egregious bills that they are also going to challenge in court. So, I mean, all's not lost, but we still have to advocate.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Do we need to, is there any other hands raised, or do we need to recognize anyone else?
You have Jared Deck from Cleveland County.
Okay, I recognize Jared.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I just want to take a moment to recognize those who really helped bring this convention together. This convention would not have happened. First off, if our state chair Alicia Andrews had not, brought it to our attention that we needed to pick up the ball. And so, first off, thanks to her. But I do want to name off a few people. I will probably miss someone, so I apologize. But I want to say a special thank you on behalf of all of CD4 to Ben Alpers, Christopher Aziabili, Destiny Warrior, Farzad Khalili, Jamie Shelton, Kathy Rand, Kathy Rothfuss, Rebecca Yanez, Taylor Broadbent, Wesley Forbes, Will Irwin, as well as everyone who stepped up today to run for CD4 offices. A month ago, we weren't sure if we were even going to have officers run. And the fact that we've had just an amazing group of people show up today. I think we had 86 or 87 on the call. I mean, this is phenomenal that we were able to pull together a virtual convention like this in this amount of time. So I just want to say a special thanks on behalf of everyone here today to those people who really brought this together.
Thank you, Jared.
Yes.
Is there anyone else at this point that we need to recognize?
You have Leslie Bonebreak from Cleveland County.
Okay, I recognize Leslie.
Hi, I'm Leslie Bonebreak from Cleveland County, Precinct 44.
Leslie too. I didn't
What's
mention
that?
Leslie. So Leslie is definitely in that list. Sorry.
Well, thank you, Jared. That's okay. I just wanted all of us to take a moment to remember some of the important Cleveland County and CD4 Democrats that we've lost this year, notably Judy Calhoun and Naomi, who are all very important that we've all done many years with. I know Judy was one of my biggest inspirations to get involved in politics. She is a true woman's woman, a union woman, and she will be forever missed in this party. And just wanted to give a shout out to her. We miss you, Judy.
Yeah. All right, Leslie, thank you very much. Do we need to recognize anyone else at this point?
Yes.
Edward?
Yeah, I wanted to add on the point about curricular and other activism directed against the universities in Oklahoma. There are major violations of academic freedom that are implicit in the bill. And apart from the administration, which is certainly one potential source of criticism of the bill, should it pass and should it be signed into law, there's also the American Association of University Professors and potential backing from this national organization that's dedicated to academic freedom. So these attacks on higher educational institutions are occurring in other places in the country, but the Oklahoma example is especially egregious. That's all I have to say about them.
Yeah. Thank you, Edward. Is there anyone else that we need to recognize at this point?
Mr. Chairman, Ben Alpers has his hand up.
I recognize Ben.
In the absence of any other points or announcements, I would like to move to adjourn.
I will second that motion.
I third it.
Aye. All right. So
all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. I guess I have the gavel, huh?
Thank you, guys, so much.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Like
This was much
I've asked a
less
few of y'all to
painful.
stay on the Zoom for a second so I can take a group photo.
This was much less painful than it could have been. Thank you.
What?
All the new officers will stay on. We're gonna do a Zoom.
Well, that's
photo
not
shoot.
bad for all of this. Makes the stakes a lot longer
Why did she pick us?
because we're.
So Jamie, that means I can go pick up my sushi, right?
You can, yes, but I need the officers to stay on so I can do one good little photo of the 5 of them. And Alicia, you too, so that way we can make a new cover photo for the Facebook page, y'all. Like, we can, I can't stop thinking of that kind of stuff.
Jamie,
Yes.
unless you need anything else from me, I'm gonna
No,
hop
you're
off.
good. I'm gonna start kicking people
Yeah,
out.
I'm gonna go
Jamie,
too.
Jamie, would you give Michael Cookie my my contact information and my phone number?
Yes, and did you take those notes in Google Docs or whatever?
Yeah, I actually just sort of wrote over the. Anyway, I'll send it over. But yeah,
Figure it out.
yeah,
Thank you, Jared.
yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Jared.
Okay, I'm starting to kick people off.
Thanks,
here.
everybody.
Hey, also, Jamie,
Thank you,
might wanna-
Catherine.
Jamie, you might want to stop recording and broadcasting.
Thank you. Bye, everybody on the Facebook or the